This is Kardec Radio, bringing to you the talk, the dynamics of our sixth sense, psychic and mediumistic phenomena in the light of Spiritism, given by Divaldo P. Franco, Brazilian medium and speaker. This partial audio recording will cover Chapter 1, God and the Brain. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful topic for today because it regards one of the most ancient faculties of human beings. It is a great honor for me to find myself here in Lilydale, New York, USA, through our great identification between modern spiritualism and Spiritism. These are sister doctrines that walk hand in hand towards a happy future. Both have as their essential principles the belief in God, in the immortality of the soul and its ability to communicate, as well as the ethico-moral values of humans in the great interest of building a better world for all. We Spiritists have in Jesus Christ the role model and guide for humanity, as set forth in the Spirit's book by Allan Kardec, under question 625. Not as we inherited from the traditional religions, but in fact as an incomparable human being who opened the horizons of love and fraternity, compassion and mercy, what today constitutes a true psychotherapy. It is fascinating to be able to remember that love as preached by Jesus finds itself before modern sciences as the great solution for all human problems. Love is so notable that the neuroscientists affirm that those who love do not get sick. They might have health accidents, but will never be ill, because love produces certain substances within the organism that work towards health. So that we may be able to reflect about our topic for today, it is worth considering one of the great questions of all times. Is there a God? The question regarding God has always been tied to religious philosophies. Throughout all times, a great power has guided life. There have been different names and diverse definitions, but always the same reality. In this century, the great scientists have not been able to avoid the concept of God in the creation of the universe. Here in the USA, for example, the notable Dr. Dean Hamer, behavioral geneticist, along with a large group of scientists, reached a very interesting conclusion. God is no longer an abstract concept, no longer something religious or spiritualist. It is a scientific fact. Studying identical twins, even when separated at birth, wherever they were, they would believe in God, no matter the name they might have given to God. And for those who were not identical twins, the group of scientists also witnessed the same phenomena. After sequencing the human genome, the scientists reached the conclusion that our DNA has around 35,000 genes. It was believed that there were more than 100,000. It was a great surprise to all of them when they found out that between a man and a rat, there is only a difference of 300 genes. It is a genetic condition. But Dr. Dean Hamer witnessed that one gene is the gene of God. We have this gene that we transmit throughout generations. That is why we all believe in God, even though we may not know his name, which is not really important. This gene was named VMAT2, which is a vesicular monoamine transporter that regulates the flow of mood-altering chemicals in the brain. After that happened, the great British astrophysicist Sir James Jeans reasoned, "I believe that God is a reality, because he is before and beyond the universe, and he will continue after the universe." That is how a second question came up. What about the spirit? Couldn't it be that the spirit is a cultural atavism? Couldn't it be that the belief in the afterlife is a casualty? Modern neuroscientists have determined that the spirit is a real being. Around 1992, at the University of California at Los Angeles, the neuropsychiatrist Michael Persinger, while conducting a PET scan on one of his patients, which stands for positron emission tomography, which is a nuclear medical imaging technique that produces a three-dimensional image or mapping of functional processes in the body, discovered to his great surprise that a certain area of the brain between the temporal lobes was emitting a peculiar luminosity. Because of the peculiarity of that luminescence, Dr. Persinger decided to report it to the neurologist Vilayanur S. Ramachandran. He was also taken by surprise as a result of what he had witnessed in the PET scan. They observed that when the patient heard the name God, the luminosity in the brain expanded. Could it be a coincidence? He had pronounced the name of God in different languages, and the luminosity in that area of the brain became more intense, regardless of the language that was being used. Whenever he pronounced other names, there were no effects. Dr. Ramachandran then named that area the Point of God. A quantum physicist from Boston, who is a professor at Oxford, Dr. Dana Zohar, wrote a fascinating book, The Quantum Man. She went to Los Angeles to study these phenomena and observe these scientific experiments. She determined that between the temporal lobes there is a specific point which presents itself with the same luminescence in any patient. It wasn't either a pathological phenomenon or specific to only some individuals. She witnessed it in everyone. Dr. Zohar then concluded that this area corresponds to the spirit attached to the body and proposed a different view of intelligence, the spiritual intelligence.